Welcome to another episode of Advancing Consciousness Podcast with myself, Franco Di Nicola. Today is episode 30, and we're going to look at what is true education. All of us have been exposed to some level of education, some extensively, and some minimal, and some none at all. But we're always learning. So anyways, we're going to take a look at what true education is. And are we actually, and have we actually experiencing true education? So stay tuned. So welcome. So let's take a look at what is true education. Now, like I said, we've all had the opportunity to be exposed to education. Some of the education comes from our parents or some family or sometimes someone that we know or something of that nature. Others have gone to what we call schools and have been exposed to education. Others have learned through other means, through books or through different resources. And, the newer generation also has the capacity to be able to access online for education. But we're always learning and we're always educating ourselves to some degree or another. Now, what we've taken on as the concept of education on the main form is school. And as much as we've labeled that education, is it the highest level of education that truly expands and supports us to be the grandest aspect of ourselves, to hone our skill sets, to hone our creative and imaginative abilities, to be able to allow us to feel free and to create amazing feats way beyond whatever's been experienced, to give us the freedom to enjoy and to experience ourselves to the fullest. Those are questions to ask ourselves when we look at our educational system. Because when I look at the educational system, and many other people have done the same, we have noticed that education is kind of a cookie cutter approach, teaching similarities of how to interact, how to play the game of life that exists on the planet. Meaning that we are taught under certain careers, certain modalities of way of life, what is accepted, not accepted, what's proper, not proper, squashing most cases, our capabilities, our imagination, our playfulness, that is going against our uniqueness of sorts because it tries to create similarities. And I know some will argue the fact that, we need it to sustain society. But is society that we've been experiencing just a construct? Is it in its natural state? Or is it a concocted state that we adopted, accepted as a way? Is it something that's been made up and nobody has questioned or just starting to question now? And the ones that have questioned have been put back on its place or just kind of stepped away from it all? When we really look at our natural design, when we look at the way we really constructed ourselves, and we actually look at our makeup, and when I say makeup, what we're made of and how we are wired to operate, each one of us has a representation on this playground as a human form to express itself in its uniqueness, in its variance, offering a particular skill set, offering a particular experience, and to interact, to advance, to enlighten, and to create an environment for other aspects of ourselves to do the same. We didn't come here to create a pattern. We came here to maintain a fluidity, and a capacity of expansion and growth that does not get locked up to any particular pattern or way of life. Life is expansive. Life is new levels of creation, experiencing, and enlightenment. We've come here to experience and to share our experience and our uniqueness of experience. Now, I know I've talked about it in other episodes, but here we are. Each incarnation of our physicalities are quite unique to the others. We may come from a mother and father blend of genetic encodements and life forces, merging and creating a very specific, with some similarities, but always specific and different from the makeup of mom and dad. You may use certain parts of mom and dad or parts of what we call the family dynamics or the lineage itself. Now, with that, it takes certain characteristics, certain skill sets, and whatever else, but it's an expression. It's a very specific vibration. Now, the main vibration, of course, is the vibration of Gaia, the planet, its consciousness, its spirit essence, blended with the spirit essence of mom and dad, their characteristics and encodements, creating a very unique, specific expression, which is you. That's the physical part. Now, when it comes to the human entity, which is the earthbound soul, it will come with a very different signature, a different skill set, different access of skill set, of consciousness, and so forth. It's a very different expression. The reason it does that is because it wants to create another opportunity of not only expression, but of advancement and enhanced experience and enhanced skill set. That merges with your body, creating already two different sets of consciousness, spirit expressions, different encodements, blending together to create the next level of its uniqueness. Then we are met with what we call the multidimensional soul. It has, again, another signature, another spectrum of frequency, with a tremendous amount of skill sets and vibrational variances that have been expressed, experienced, and adopted from different form experiences, some on this planet, but many others on other planets, on different forms, on different dimensions, and different quadrants of the galaxy, and parts of the universe or galaxies, to create another level of its own uniqueness expression. So here you are, a body, a human entity, and soul. Three spectrums coming together with all different signatures, with different expression, creating a beautiful, interesting combination. But it doesn't stop there. This combination shares itself and all that it has to offer to the human mind. The mind receives this information, processes it, and creates what we see as a expression in form, which is a holographic light show, movie, video game, whatever you want to call it, that looks and feels very real, that applies emotions, applies sensorial experiences, and expresses itself. So here you are, this very unique expression, very unique opportunity to gift to all other aspects of yourself that have done the same thing, and each and every one different than the next. Now, with these beautiful combinations coming together, each one has a very specific role. The roles are flexible and expansive, but very unique roles. So where does the education plug in? Well, education, in its true form, is a gathering of people. Could be young people at first, and growing, where they expose, communicate, and learn from each other in their own expression. But true education is the opportunity, the supportiveness to allow us to not only discover ourselves in all of our unique blend, but to also learn about ourselves on what we have to offer and what we have come here to express, and to utilize those expressions, those giftings, those opportunities, so that we get to the more refined state to do so. We are all each individual pieces of the puzzle that makes this whole beautiful scape we call the human experience on the human planet in this solar system and galaxy and universe. So true education does not try to mold us. No, it works towards self-exploration, towards self-expression, towards expanding our creativity, our imagination, and to bring forth those capacities to this playground for all to benefit, to all flourish and grow. Progress is made when we utilize ourselves to the fullest, where we hone our skill sets and expand our skill sets. That's what education is about. Learning about the human experience with no limitations, but allowing our humanness to reach new levels, to experience all realms of that humanness, and noticing no limits in that humanness. That's true education. True education is not trying to mold you. It's to support you in your uniqueness. True education does not give you information that is stale, old, or narrative directed. And a lot of our education is not accurate, is skewed, comes with specific narratives, with particular agendas and creates and supports old modalities, old ways of life, obsolete ways of life. And we're realizing that more and more. Now, that we don't demonize education. We see it, how it served, and it did give us a very interesting experience. But that experience that we've had, the opportunity to play with, is something that has become obsolete now only because we've chosen to revert all of it and go into our natural state. So our education has to take a new form. And that education is sharing of experiences, but also promoting our individualized creativity and to create platforms for us to express that creativity, to be able to have the freedom and support to experience that in ways that we feel natural to do so. So the educational system that we've experienced up to now is an old inverted matrix, inverted 3D, 2D support system and mechanism. But that is what has become obsolete for some time. That is what we are transforming and changing. When we look at our educational system and we look at all these beautiful new souls, new children coming onto the planet, they have very little interest to support that old way of life, to be molded a specific way, to be cookie cuttered, to be the same, to adopt certain career choices, or to take on very specific roles, or to adopt certain beliefs and ideas of the human experience. They really want to be creative. They really want to use their imagination. They really want to offer their skill sets. They want to be free. They want to be supported in that freedom. And this is why at times they will resist the educational system. This is why they don't have the interest. There are other factors too, but the main factor is trying to put someone in a box when they will not fit in the box. All of us were expansive when you came here. But we all adopted a box, which we are now breaking out of or breaking free from, or at least outgrowing it so that we are opening ourselves outside of that box. But at the same time, many of us have been trying to support our kids to go into the box. Well, it's time that we bring true education forth, where we provide the tools and the opportunity and the support for each and every child and adult to be themselves, to discover themselves, to become comfortable in themselves and on all the combinations that have come. See, the skill sets that come from the multidimensional soul is coming from other planets too, from the non-form state that observed. It has a lot of skill sets it would like to offer. The human entity, which is also a soul that has learned from many incarnations, has gained a certain skill sets in the human playground and would like to utilize it. This is why you have very powerful children and even adults at this point in time that have very elaborate skill sets that was not acquired in this incarnation. It was a buildup of many other incarnations. So those savants and those really skilled they're using the skill sets that they've learned in other incarnations and have continued to expand, and now are bringing forth to expand it even further, but to share it from a higher capacity. So to squash that and to put them in a box would be very difficult to do so, and will have some reactions and resistance for sure. And when the body is involved, the innate consciousness of the body is expanding. Its awareness, its fifth dimensional state in its organic state, and also its third dimensional state in its organic state, would love to express itself even more fully. Because the body in its natural state learns through its sensorial experience, through its connections, to its exchange, through relationship, and relationships with one another, relationships with all the different kingdoms, animal, plant life, you name it, oceanics, birds, and so forth. But also the connection with Gaia itself. So true education is to learn through nature, through one another, through what we are bringing forth through our human entity and through our soul, and creating that beautiful blend to express. Because once we allow that to be the case, and that's what we're working towards, we will evolve. We will become, in the expressionary way, very powerful, forward-moving human experience. And this is even before, which is also another factor, the activation of our DNA more fully in some cases, and in some cases turned from off position to on. Each and every DNA is a channel of communication through a very specific species that are contributors and that we share with. So those levels of consciousness and skill sets also will flow to us. So we have many resources, many capacities to utilize. And that is what we are bringing to the forefront now. So that is what true education is. Hopefully you enjoyed. And hopefully it has triggered within you that knowing that you already have, and what true education is, and who you truly are, and what you have here to do. So go out and do it. So I thank you for your support. I thank you for coming together. If this all resonates and you would like to support us financially, this is our only resources to be able to support all the platforms and to support ourselves to continually focus on creating more and more content and put it out each day in different forms through the series and also through the podcast and workshops and any other resources that we can provide as tools as we collectively advance. In the description, you'll have the link to contribute. In the description, you will have also a link to the website and to join the newsletter. In the link, you will also have access to all the other workshops that are available in video and audio recordings to aid and support you through this journey and to advance much more quickly. So it's there, it's available for you to utilize. So go out and explore. Until the next episode, go out and have a